Surviving on Ark has always been something every survivor knows is much easier said than done, but this time, we're gonna push it to an extreme. We're about to take on one of Ark's absolute hardest maps, Scorched Earth. Not to mention, we have only given ourselves 100 days to not only survive, but find a way to thrive and beat the Alpha Manticore. And as if all of that wasn't hard enough already, we have to do it without dying a single time, because if I do, I must restart all the way from day one, all over again. So now that everybody is a little bit more familiar with the goals and the rules, let's see if we can handle everything these sands have to offer. Choosing an easy zone, I woke up, took in my new desert environment, and wasted no time getting to work grinding out all the early game essentials we'd need. Except the wasteland already had other plans. What was that? Oh my god, no, wait, I can't move, I went down! Really? Oh my god, that was a good start, huh? Yeah, I may have bitten off more than I can chew with this challenge, but welcome to Scorched Earth. Clearly, I was going to have to stay extra alert with added caution if I was going to make it anywhere on this map. This time I woke up and immediately started working towards getting some sort of base camp set up. It wasn't long before I was able to create a hut and start filling it with everything I could get my hands on. I also located a water vein close by. This was huge since water is going to be a super rare commodity on Scorched Earth. Water veins only have a limited amount of water though, so I would need to ration as best I could. With the new water discovery, I knew we would need to fortify the area in order to have any chance of holding it. So I went right back to picking the area clean for all it was worth. By night, I didn't have a ton to my name, but I did have all the necessary building blocks of a good Ark life. Alright, not bad, it's a decent start. In the morning of day 2, I started working on the defenses early, so I could try and establish a perimeter around our base. I also realized our base camp was on top of a small mesa with only a handful of ways up, which was perfect. Defended correctly, we could essentially play King of the Hill. I also discovered a little buddy, and since I was yearning for companionship at this point, I made quick work to beat him over the head and load him up with berries. You know, normal best friend things. Soon he tamed up and we had acquired our first member of the crew, Gilbert. While busy constructing the wall around our base, a level 50 blue Doa just walked up. We wouldn't be able to use him for a while yet, but we would definitely need one, and I was in major need of a protector. So I built a boomerang and started the friendship ritual. Come on, go down to that one. Yes, nice, here we go. But while waiting for our blue ball to wake up, I got the scare of a lifetime.
Hello there.
Oh my god, okay, wait. Oh my god, sky attack! Oh my god, okay. Yeah, we got ambushed by a 140 Raptor, and while I wasn't sure if I'd be able to knock it out, the gamble of getting a 140 Raptor this early was just too great to not try. So I tried to persuade him. Luckily, he didn't go too far, and we were able to take an early lead. Oh my god, so clutch. And by late day, our Raptor had tamed. I named him Ein. The Doe had also decided to wake up, and we named him Blurp. Unfortunately, though, we had to call it a day because we got hit with a heat wave that would force us inside for the entire rest of the day. With the fence being intact, it was now time to start working on a livable house. Thing is, on Scorched Earth, you can't live in stone structures because you'll overheat and die rather quickly. So instead, the best way to stay cool is with adobe. But making adobe structures is kind of a pain. It takes sand and cactus sap combined in a mortar and pestle. Gathering this much clay was slow going. It was worth it though, because by the end of the day, I had successfully erected an adobe hut to live in and work out of. By day 4, I was finally able to make Ein a saddle. With an escort, I felt way more confident setting off on a small expedition up the mountain in search of some metal. This proved to be successful. We were able to get a forge set up and start smelting our loot. While that was going, I gained even more confidence, and this time I set out again in search of crystal, which wasn't as easy. No, I think we'll go another way. Is that a wyvern? Why are there wyverns out here, man? Oh my god. As long as it stays over there, I guess we'll be okay. But after a while, I was finally able to summit the mountain, and I found my crystal. Oh! It's a trap! 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 Oh my god! Oh! Okay, they're still coming! Just gonna Billy go down the mountain! Quick! Oh my God. Oh, they're still coming. Oh God. Run on, run. Not being one to quit, I decided to try again. Luckily, this time it was all clear and I was able to start gathering the crystal. Or so I thought. Oh my God, was that the wyvern? Oh my God, it is the wyvern. Go, go, go. Why is it up here? Why is it up here on the mountain? Just do Billy Goat status sign. Go, go, go. Oh, it's still on us. I don't think we can outrun this. Oh my God, I don't think we can outrun this. Okay, we need to find something that we can like aggro. Oh, it's so fast. We need to aggro into something else. Just go, go on, go. Oh my God. All right, Ein, you might have to die for this. You might have to die for this, Ein. Is it still chasing us? I think we're good. I think it's back there on the mountain eating something else. I think we're escaping. Oh my God. That was way, way, way too close. Oh my God, it's still close too. With the wyvern in the area, I elected to hide inside for a while, but I did make myself a smithy, a spyglass, pick, hatchet, and a crossbow. With these newfound gains and with the crisis seemingly being over, I went out in search of a Morellatops to end the day. With the newly acquired crossbow, I was able to knock out a low level fairly easy. And by the night, after a super stressful day, I was able to walk away with Emma, our new Morellatops. Now that we had somebody on the team who could carry more weight, I started day 5 by taking Ein and Emma out on a resource run. And with more metal smelting, I stumbled upon a 110 female raptor. Figuring a mate-boosted set of raptors would be better than just Ein alone, I began trying to acquire her to the crew. And while waiting for the new girl to tame, I ended up finding a low-level Lymantria, and still needing a way to get skybound, I wagered it might be worth trying to tame this. But it got away. Ein and I gave chase, and after a very long run, I was able to find it again, and this time, we knocked it out. With the Lymantria being such a pain in the butt to knock out, I didn't want to leave her alone. So I elected to guard this moth until it was done. After a very long wait that ate up the majority of the day, our mini Mothra had finally woken up. I named him Butta.
Butta gone.
I ended up walking Butta back to base and picking up our new raptor, Rapgal. And with night quickly approaching, we made Butta a saddle and took our very first flight to a nearby explorer node I found earlier to get her a little extra XP, then finally called it a night. On day 6, I was finally able to make a Doed saddle, so the first half of the day was spent doing some resource runs. The second half of the day, I took Butta out to the Red Obelisk in search of some Argies. Because while Butta could fly, he was a far cry from being a good flyer. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to locate any decent level Argies, so I had to return home empty-handed. The next morning, I set out one more time in search of an Argent. This time, I was able to find a 140, so I set up our trap and pulled it in. Except it escaped. No, wait, come back, please. It's okay though, because it turns out your boy is a good shot. Ooh, call me Sniper King from Sniper Island. I command an 8,000-man army and you can't, I'm gonna stop, I'm sorry. It took me a while to get all the prime meat needed, but eventually our Argent did tame up and I named her Claire. Unfortunately, that's when I realized I needed to be level 62 for an Argy saddle. And we were only 47. No! Well, at least we'll have it when we do get to level 62, right? And feeling a little bit sad about what I had just done, I brought Claire home and wrapped up the day by making a feeding trough. Still needing a bunch of levels, the day I took Ein and Rapgal out for a killing spree, except it didn't go as planned. God dang it. Really? Really, Ark? No. Gah!
Another one. And another one.
This is getting old! Oh my God! Really? Is that a Perlovia? I didn't even know Perlovias were on this, man. I swear to God, if this is how this run ends. If this is how this run ends, man, come on! Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. They should be able to handle that down there, no problem, right? Yeah, I'm done. I'm going home. This sucks. Oh, good, yeah, why not? One more for good luck. Yeah, needless to say, after a severe bout of frustration, I needed to cut my losses and go home. On the morning of day 9, the sand gods presented us with a peace offering, a 150 ank right outside our base. Even if we wouldn't need one for a while, we could not tame it, could we? So we knocked him out. With an anky tame to look after, I continued to look around and spotted another desert jewel, this time being a 150 Morellatops. Again, we didn't really need this, but I just had to have it. So I made kind of a rinky-dink trap out of billboards and made it happen. Unfortunately, this now meant we were stuck berry taming 2 high-level herbivore tames, which took forever. By morning, our 150 tops was finally awake, so I picked him up, named him Gort, and brought him home. The Anki, on the other hand, still needed time, but luckily while we were waiting, I reached level 62, and it was time to take our RG out. With our new power, I began exploring the desert for perhaps a new base location. Unfortunately, Scorched Earth detected fun was being had, and my Jerboa alerted me to an oncoming storm. So I had to head home early as to not get caught in it. It was a good thing we did too, because the second we got home, a sandstorm hit. At least the Anki was done. I named him Tuscan in honor of the sand. Then we waited out the storm. During the storm, I did some research on a new place to build a base. We needed access to easy water and to be closest to the wreck spawn so we could check them fairly easily. And honestly, that didn't leave us with a whole lot of options, but I think I had the perfect spot. So I packed up our base and began the caravan over. From here, all the way over here. And of course, we had to take cover from a heat storm halfway through our trip. But after not too terribly long, we arrived at our new home. I spent the rest of the day remaking some sort of base camp and organizing what we had. Day 12, it was time to start settling the land. So immediately I began the arduous task of making more adobe structures. We started by making a small house on the outskirts near the water, just so that we had something to work out of. I even started working on the courtyard wall so we'd have something to keep us safe. By the end of the day, it wasn't a whole lot, but our little desert ranch was starting to take shape. I was really struggling to get wood, and since there isn't a mammoth or a beaver on this map, I figured on day 13, it was time to remedy this situation. So I made a small taming pen and set off to find a thorny dragon just to speed this up. It did take me a little while, but eventually I found a suitable level just to tame. And after enough time had passed, he did indeed tame up. I named him Boba, you know, because he rides like a
panther. Yes? Maybe not.
Boba was an immediate, much-needed boost to our economy. And of course, as soon as we started getting going again, Scorched Earth decided to sideline us, again with a heat wave. Come on, man! The morning of day 14, it was time to buckle down and finish some of these courtyard walls. The adobe making process at this point was really grindy, specifically for the cactus sap. But the work still needed to be done, so I made a water hole so I could get water from inside the base. Then I started working on our main wall and gate. And after what seemed like forever and grinding so many mats, by the end of the day, the main wall was totally complete. On day 15, I decided I had lived like a Tuscan Raider for long enough and set out to create technology. So first we did a crystal run, then we completed a few metal runs, and then finally I took Claire out to the dunes to kill some mantis for their organic polymer. On the way back from the dunes, I found an obus and figured he'd be helpful at some point and carried him back as well. Back at base, I got to work making all of our upgrades. 1 fabricator, 1 fridge, a generator, and even a light. By the time night rolled around, we had achieved enlightenment and had ascended out of the Dark Ages. Let's go! During day 16, I found the first wrecks we would need for our army. 135, it's a good start, I suppose. We ended up using our classic bear trap and gate technique, which worked like a charm. Except for when the sandstorm showed up, that is. After a while, I was still able to knock it out, though. Since we had found an obus the other day and he was still sitting at our base, I figured we could probably use him for the mutton once the storm had subsided. It did take a minute to get back to base. After feeding the wrecks, I didn't want the rest of our mutton to go to waste, so I flew back to base, fired up the old Steak Master 5000, and then I became a professional barbecuer and started cooking as much of the mutton as we could before it spoiled. By the time the next day rolled around, our 130 wrecks had tamed out. Of course, we continued the time-honored tradition of naming the first Rex in every series Rambo Ray. Yeah, still no idea why we do this. I wasn't quite at the right level to be able to make a Rex saddle yet, so instead, I just walked him back to base, telling him to attack everything on the way. Back at base, I was still behind the 8 ball in terms of being where I wanted to be when it came to my level. So in order to remedy that, I grabbed Claire, grabbed an Explorer note, and went on a little bit of a killing spree. After the carnage, I rounded out day 17 with a nice healthy little gathering of cactus sap. I was still a little upset that I wasn't quite where I wanted to be with my levels. So I decided to do a note run. In response, I flew around on Claire collecting as many Explorer notes as I could find until I was entirely caught up. And now that I could make a Rex saddle, I wanted to take Rambo Ray out for some fun. My turn to finally be an apex predator on this map. Then, right on cue, Scorched Earth detected that fun was indeed being had. So it hit us with a sandstorm that forced us to go home. Bruh. On day 19, I ended up finding a 120 Sabertooth, and since I was gonna need to start thinking about what I was gonna use to take on these caves, this was gonna have to work for now, so I brought him home. While waiting on our big cat to tame, I made a grill. As luck would have it, Saberteeth don't take very long to tame at all, and soon enough, he was up and ready to go. Continuing our little naming convention, I named this guy Sebulba. Now that we had a brand new grill, I thought it was only appropriate that we broke it in. So I took Sebulba out to do a complete meat run to cap off the day. On day 20, I finally had a revelation. Guys, I think I just had a brain blast. Isn't the chainsaw good for sap? Oh my god, okay, wait. We have to try this out. Hold on. Pause everything. All right, let's see what this puppy can do. What have we been doing this entire time? Oh, we've been wasting so much time. After that, I became an absolute farming monster. I went on a rampage collecting sap, wood, thatch, and even sand. One might even say that I became king of the sand, and I made a massive stockpile of clay. By day 21, I still wanted more. I had become a clay addict. And because of this, I spent the first part of my day looking for a Doet upgrade. Because while Blorp was adequate at getting stone, he really didn't feel that niche that I was hungry for. I ended up finding a 150, which just fueled my sand addiction even more so. After knocking him out, I grew my sand collection even more, grinding the entire rest of the day, turning our sand into clay. One might even say that my sand empire could even rival Jabba's. So the real reason I was grinding so hard for clay was that I had a base build in mind, and I really didn't want to run out of Adobe and have to grind a second time. So on day 22, construction began. I had this idea for a multi-level base that would function as a dino barn and a workshop combined into one build. It took me a while of messing around and playing with things to kind of figure out how it would work, but by the night of 22, I had completed the outline. Except this build was a little bit complicated, and it took me quite a while to figure out how it was all going to come together. In fact, I continued to build all the way through day 23, and finally finished this project on the early morning of day 24. Alrighty guys, so here it is, and I think I owe you guys a base tour. So I have finally completed this behemoth. The very top floor of this multi-level build is going to be our workshop area. I've gone ahead and already moved all our stuff over here. We got the fabricator, we got the smithy, we got the grill over there on the far end. We have all of our refining forges. We got a couple of fridges moved up as well. All in all, I think the top looks really good. Also, I had to put a roof on top of this thing just because there are so many storms. I wanted us to be able to function while working up top. I also included a ramp on either side of this place just so that we could get up there with the ground mounts if need be to just drop off resources. Now, this place is also a dino barn on the inside. There are actually 3 different doors that let us come in here and store animals to keep them safe. Check this out, you guys. I think it looks so good. Definitely worth the extra effort to sit here and try and build this thing. It's really good. It's really good. I'm having way too much fun building with Adobe. Check it out from this side. Not half bad if I do say so myself. Plus, we've got all the extra room for expansion. Definitely an A+ build, I think. Let me know down below. And with the remainder of our time on day 24, I took a well-deserved break. I just had to, you guys. This build took a lot of effort, man. On day 25, I wanted to focus on building up our army, so I started off in search of some Rexes. Except this time, we rolled our dice and came up with an Ark Yahtzee. A 150 Thyla? Yeah, you know what? I don't think I need to look at that anymore. Go ahead, just wrap that one up for me so I can take it up. Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna be grabbing that. Let's go! With our prize in hand, we beelined it home to drop him off in our taming pen and knock him out. And since we already had cooked mutton from earlier, I was able to start this tame ASAP. While we waited for our champion of a Thyla to join the crew, I was able to finish construction on the river wall as well. Nice, one more down, one to go. On the morn of day 26, our champion had awoken. I named him Tiger Star. By the way, quick shout out if you also read these books. Comment down below and let me know if you got the reference. With our cave mount no longer being in question, I wanted to level him up as best we could just to prepare. So I grabbed the Advanced Explorer note above our base that I'd been saving and headed out towards the dunes, where I could grab a few normal Explorer notes on top of killing many mantis for easy XP. The other benefit of running the dunes is the potential Deathworm encounter, which would just provide us with another XP boost. And as luck would have it, we got two. I stayed out in the dunes all day killing everything, and I only returned to base when night came around. And by then, Tiger Star was an absolute monster. Our base was still in need of a few amenities we just couldn't find anywhere else. So I started off the day with a quick grocery run. With these resources in hand, I broke ground on a new greenhouse. Nothing fancy, but enough for some veggie plots. The next issue I ran into was Scorched Earth didn't have any Pheomians, so I was gonna need to utilize a different fertilizer method. But not to worry, I MacGyvered up kind of a redneck plan. Yup, you guessed it, I constructed an outhouse with a working toilet. You know, for the quick flush and grow. Don't judge me. By the end of that day, though, the compound had a working, fully functioning farm system. On day 28, I wanted to try and locate some treasure in hopes of finding a much better Rex saddle blueprint. So I went to the wiki and wrote down all the desert drop locations. A desert drop will give you high tier loot, but only 2 spawn every few hours at any given time. With all the locations written down on a pad in front of me, it was time to head out in search of finding some treasure. All right. Finally, we got our first drop. It looks like it's safe. Let's see. What do we got? What is this? Ascendant Tusotoothus saddle blueprint? Awesome, yeah. I can't wait to just tame a giant squid out here in the desert. Thank you. Thank you, Ark. All right, second drop. Hopefully this is better. What do we got? Oh, awesome. Night vision goggles, huh? Yeah, this wasn't a colossal waste of time at all. Can I just state real quick that the fact that you can find underwater creature blueprints on a map that is literally full of sand is a little bit outrageous. On a return back to base, we did get to do battle with an alpha deathworm though, which I thought was gonna be kinda good because finding an alpha anything on this map is a bit of a challenge. Except he too didn't give us anything. Well, there it is. Exploring the map on day 29, I stumbled upon a level 140 female Rex, which would be a perfect next step for our army. So we trapped and knocked it out. And while she was taming, we were off to go find an obelisk, so that we could construct our first 5 cryopods of the series. These were gonna be super helpful. Back at base, we were also able to add a long neck rifle to our tool set. By day 30, I was starting to crave wyvern flight. We were also going to need a whole bunch of wyvern talons in order to fight all 3 versions of the Manticore. But knowing we only had 1 life, I couldn't just waltz into the wyvern scar either. So I came up with a foolproof multi-part plan. Part 1, stockpiling weapons and ammo, and we were going to need a lot of ammo. So the grind for Matt started yet again. I built a ton of campfires for charcoal. Slowly but surely, we started to grow our ammo reserves. This took me through day 30 and day 31. As any Ark player knows, sometimes you just gotta grind stuff out. On day 32, I was really in need of a break from the grind. So instead, I took Tiger Star and even Sebulba as a plan B to take on our very first cave in search of the artifact of the crag. With all the levels Tiger Star had at this point, he by and large dismantled anything and everything inside this cave. Tiger Star made short work of absolutely mowing down every insect in his path and some dire wolves. We also picked up a drop or 2 inside the cave, but there was nothing really to get excited about. And before too long, we stood victorious in the tomb of the Mega Raptor, and the artifact was ours. Let's go! On day 33, I executed part 2 of my wyvern plan. And for that, we would need a Paraceratherium. Luckily, I had already ran into the one I wanted when I was flying around the map a few days earlier. So, armed with that information, we flew over, made a trap, and began the tame. Even with veggies, a Paracer tame takes a very, very long time, especially a high-level one. So, while we waited for this Titan to wake up, I returned the base and continued to grow our ammo stocks. Around mid-day 34, our Paracer woke up. Wasting no time, I put a basic saddle on him and named him Atlas. I figured if I walked him home, I could go around killing anything along the way and level him up just a few more times. And for our plan to work, he was definitely going to need some levels. So I spent the day walking back to base. Back at base on 35, I started phase 3 of the wyvern plan and used exactly what we had built to construct a mobile pillbox on the back of Atlas. Except I kinda messed this up. Yeah, now that the pillbox was on his back, I couldn't put Atlas in a cryopod. So I was going to have to walk from here all the way over here. And thus a new phase was born, the Great Paracer Migration. It took thousands upon thousands of steps to cross the desert. But eventually, we did reach the Wyvern Scar and found a place to hunker down for the rest of the night. When the sun rose on day 36, it was time to enact our final phase. To turn on our guns and begin the fight.
And so, we shall go to war.
Essentially, I just set up Atlas along the World Scar and flew after wyverns toward him with Claire, but it was working like a charm. I had successfully turned Atlas into a NORAD system. He was pretty much the equivalency of a wyvern garbage disposal. I did this until I could fly around the trench safely looking for eggs. For the most part, all I found were terrible poison wyvern eggs. But I did stumble upon one decent poison wyvern egg and one epic lightning egg. Yes, there we go! That's what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, I was feeling fairly satisfied, plus I was running low on ammo. So I grabbed Atlas and set up camp for the night. Now I had a new problem. I couldn't just bring Atlas back to base because it was a long walk and it would take forever. Plus we were going to have to come back a couple more times to get all the talons we needed. So I began working on a fairly simple outpost. I just needed a place safe enough where Atlas could stay while I was back at base. It essentially consisted of just spiked walls, a small building, and a well, but I was kind of hoping that would be enough to keep things from spawning in the area. It's not a whole lot, but fingers crossed that it'll be enough to keep Atlas safe. It's not much, but at least I tried. Returning to base on 38, I ended up finding a decent level for Coptodon right outside our base. Since these are kind of the meta for traveling Scorched Earth, and seeing I wouldn't be able to hatch our wyvern eggs, at least for a little while longer, I figured this might be worth a try. So I knocked him out and tamed him. I figured I'd test out his speed by going out to hit the desert drops one more time because I was kind of hoping the last time we did the drops was a little bit of a fluke. Alright, drop 1. Just please be better than the last set. Okay, we can use a ride helmet and Mastercraft scuba leggings. Yes. Let me just make some Mastercraft scuba leggings so I can go swimming around the desert. Alright, you surely have to be better than the last set. What is that? Oh, man, it fooled me. Ascendant Giga Saddle. That's, woo, the Journeyman Sickle's kind of nice, but oh my god, I would be so stoked, except on this map, there isn't Giga Spawns, man. Any other series, that would have been so good. I don't know if I should be upset or not. Clearly, the desert drops had not planned on stopping trolling me anytime soon. At this point, I was really starting to want to use that lightning wyvern egg. Plus, we were gonna need an area where we could start doing our Rex breeding. So today I broke ground on another build. I really like having an actual area for breeding instead of just spamming torches. Yeah, I might have gone a little bit overboard, but it's not every day you get to build with Adobe and Ark, and I was really enjoying it. This build would give us all the space we need to raise up an army. Plus, it would be safe enough to let them stay there till they were fully grown. On top of all of that, our desert Parthenon looked pretty epic. And in my mind, I thought it was a great addition to our base. Now that we had made a way to hatch our eggs, we were gonna need a formula for the babies. So I made some behemoth gates and went back to the World Scar. In order to acquire wyvern milk, you'd have to steal it. And in order to steal it, that means you have to knock out a female wyvern first. So using the behemoth gates we built, I set up a trap nearby. Then after locating a low-level female wyvern that was alone, I shot it and dragged it into it. And once trapped, we began the knockout process. I would repeat this a few times until I had enough milk for our kids. Soon, it was time to hatch the wyverns. First up, the 185 Lightning Wyvern. I named him Chrysanthemum, then the Poison. I named this one Kit Bisto. It took the remainder of this day plus all of day 41 raising and imprinting them. However, I did finish our compound wall while we were waiting. The wyverns had finally grown up, and being basically stranded without a good flyer this entire time, I decided to enjoy utilizing the perks of wyvern ownership. I essentially just flew around the map enjoying the sights and killing everything I could, but I still got into a small bout of trouble. It wasn't nothing we couldn't handle though. The next day, a 150 Rex made its presence known. Finally, we would have the final breeding piece we needed. After taming this beast, I brought him straight home for breeding. And with a quick bout of incubation, our very first army prospects were born. As you probably guessed, it did take me a few days to raise and imprint them though. I consider this a small price to pay for finally getting our army off the ground. During day 45, at last I wound up finding a high-level mantis. And after a quick visit to the base to go ahead and grab our best ghillie stuff, I was able to tame it with relatively little to no drama. I named him Sarge and instantly put my good man to work. You see, you can actually give mantises tools to use that make farming that much more efficient. And I was pleasantly surprised just how effective it was. Seeing this, I decided to spend the rest of the day grinding because I had a couple more upgrades that I just had my eye on. All this grinding led me to ultimately being able to afford an industrial forge, which immediately gave our economy a much needed adrenaline boost. While enjoying the industrial life, a decent level Equus crossed my path, and this was just an offer I couldn't refuse. So I picked him up, put him in our taming pen, and began trying to break this majestic stallion. And once tamed, I named him Hidalgo, and with Hidalgo's help, I became the cowboy our ranch deserved. Yeah, maybe not the most productive day out there, but these things tend to happen sometimes. Because of the lack of alphas on this map, I really hadn't found any good gear upgrades yet. Knowing just how helpful they could be if I managed to find some, I elected to spend one whole day checking drops to see if I could just manage to change that. And I think I'll let you guys be the judge on just what kind of effect that might have had on me. Alright, purple to start us off, no whammies. Alright, strike one. Alright, blue, what you got? Oh. Alright, blue with our gold ring. That means something's good in here, right? Okay, I don't think we're ever gonna need a journeyman whip, but I'll take that. Another blue, what do you got? I refuse to even believe that this is a real package. Oh my god, it got worse! Purple, you wouldn't let me down. Ah! I can't even believe I'm gonna check a green, we'll just see. You know what? This is better than the blues. I'll take it. Alright, one more purple. Good, water. That's exactly what I needed. Another blue and yeah. Why am I not surprised? Nothing. Excellence. More nothing. And it's nothing. All right, yellow with a gold. If there's anyone that's gonna be good, it's this one. Please. What is that? Harris or Saddle? Why? And I don't even know what I expected at this point. Alrighty, first red. Please no whammies, please. Something. Give me something. It gave me depression. Alright, last yellow. Surely. Surely this is the one. Yeah, I think it's safe to say I needed a mental break. Which, for no particular reason at all, I decided to spend taming a 150 galley I had found while going after drops for no reason. Galleys are supposed to be the fastest land mount, at least according to their dossier. So obviously, when he tamed up, I had to name him Lamborghini. Still not learning my lesson for some reason, I decided I maybe will take him for a drive to go check some loot drops. Okay. First drop, here we go. No matter what happens, we're just gonna be happy. We're just gonna be excited. What is this? Okay. Riot Gauntlets is good. What is this? Mastercraft Parasaur Ethereum Saddle Blueprint. Okay, we don't really need that. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll put that on Atlas. That's fine. We have definitely had way worse. We're just gonna be happy about that. Everything's good. All right, second drop. Still, we're just gonna be happy regardless of what it is. What is that? Electric Pod. Okay, that's fine. And what is? Okay, we definitely didn't need both sets of Paraceratherium saddles, but like I said, we're gonna be happy. Arky provided. Thank you. It's fine. In my last 100 days video on Crystal Isles, I performed a science experiment to see what flyer was the fastest. And since I now had a strange collection of land creatures, I wanted to perform this same race with them to find the fastest land mount. I was gonna time each tame on the way to the green obelisk and again on the way back. Whichever time was the fastest would be the time that we would use. So first up, Ein the Raptor. Ein's fastest time was 1:45. Next up, the Saber. Sebulba walked out with a time of 1:42. Next in line was the Equus. Hidalgo galloped up with the fastest time of 1:59. Now the Procoptodon. Rupert sped through with a time of 1:02. Last but not least, the Galley, the supposed fastest land mount. Let's see what we get. Our Lamborghini revved in at a time of 1:01, 1 second faster than the Procoptodon. And finally, just for science, I decided to see what a Wyvern can do. Yeah, the Wyvern completed it in 40 seconds flat, so I guess we all know why flyers are so overpowered. Still in need of a couple more artifacts, I figured today was as good a day as any for cave number 2, this one being located deep within a desert canyon. Tigerstar pretty confidently handled this one as well, cutting down pretty much any foe that walked in our path. I did encounter a troll drop that I just couldn't get regardless of what I tried. Really? Are you kidding me right now, Ark? The second half of this cave required Sebulba's assistance, which did get a bit dodgy. All right, Sebulba, no whammies. Jump! Woo! Jump! Woo! All right. Inevitably, we did acquire the artifact of the Gatekeeper. I hate you so much. We were still in need of a bunch of Wyvern talent, so the day I revisited Atlas for another trench day. You guys remember that outpost I made in order to keep Atlas safe? Yeah, about that. All right, what the hell is going on behind? Woo! Deathworm! Get it, get it, get it! Oh my god! Get in there, Atlas! Destroy him! Oh my god! Oh my god! There's nothing left! It destroyed everything! Yeah, lesson learned. After fixing the pillbox, the crisis was averted and I used the exact same strat as before to clear the entire Wyvern trench. This time making sure to grab the talent of every Wyvern we killed. On top of that, I did come across a couple more decent eggs. Day 53 was a bit of a lazy one. All I did was make dye, give ourselves a haircut and style so we could start the transformation into becoming the Fender we all know and love. Plus, I revamped our wardrobe and a few saddles. Yeah, maybe not the most productive day, but like I said earlier, these things tend to happen sometimes. We still hadn't gotten the full amount of talents we needed to fight the Alpha Manticore, and I was starting to get really eager to just mop those up and get done. So back to the Scar we went, except this time, I might have gotten a bit too crazy with how many Wyverns I dragged over to Atlas. And unfortunately, a tragedy befell the sands. Oh god, I didn't realize there were that many chasing us! Oh my god, he's dead! He's so dead, there's no way he's not dead! Oh no! No! Oh god! Okay, just run. We gotta get out of here, just go! Oh no, Atlas, my boy! Look what they did to my boy! Yeah, hashtag rip Atlas in the comments. This heat is definitely starting to make me a little crazy. On day 55, I turned our original workstation into a trophy room / desert bunker where I could safely ride out the sandstorms. While I was working on that, I also realized our watering hole didn't really look like a watering hole, which was supposed to be the entire point. We just couldn't have that, so I gave it a much-needed makeover. Alright guys, check out the new pad. I built the deck all the way around our watering hole, moved all our campfires and our cooking pot on the side just in case we want to have a barbecue. But check out the piece de resistance. So through this door is our new pad. It's looking nice and homey in here, guys. And yeah, I may have developed a little bit of a Jerboa problem, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. In this chest, we've got all our saddles and things. Over here, we got our blueprints. That's all organized. Over here, we got some random clothes that we might need. And then even over here, we got our map and a couple more places where I can store the excess stuff we just don't need right now. But yeah, check it out. I think it's looking pretty homely, don't you? On day 56, I ended up finding another 145 female Rex, and never being one to turn down another breeder, I trapped it and knocked it out. Of course, a sandstorm decided to hit while knocking it out, because why let Ark be easy, right? And while waiting for our Rex to tame, a 140 female Mantis just walked by. And not wanting to miss out on the chance of having a mate-boosted set of Mantis, we decided to tame that as well to round out the day. The next day, I decided to breed our Manti. I named the female Bulma, by the way. Ugh, that's kinda gross. Once the baby hatched, I had to name it Trunks, didn't I? And since I was raising Trunks, I might as well hatch the other wyvern eggs we had while I was at it. I named the fire wyvern Maul, and the lightning wyvern I named Sidious. With 3 new kids, I did need to take another day to raise and imprint them all. But during all of this, the Ark gods decided to grace me with a miracle. Alright, what do we got? Our Journeyman Rock Golem saddle's not terrible. Wait, did that say Rex? Oh my god, we got a Rex saddle blueprint! Holy cow! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! This blueprint cured my depression. When they were finally grown, I was ready to take Trunks out. Wait, hold everything! What happens if I give him the machete? Oh my god, he's actually Trunks now. Except when you have good luck in Ark, it always seemingly comes in multiple waves. And while doing some killing with future Trunks, we received an enormous gift. Oh my god, no way! The desert was granting us a second chance at Atlas redemption, and I took him up on it immediately by knocking him out and starting a tame. With Atlas 2 now taming, I decided I definitely needed to finish farming with Trunks before it woke up. As soon as Atlas 2 woke up, I took her to get an advanced explorer note for some quick levels. Then, learning from our experience with Atlas 1, I dropped Atlas 2 off at the Scar, and then I built the Pillbox version 2.0. This time, I dragged the wyverns out slowly, being super cautious. And by sundown, at long last, I had assembled all the talons we would need for the Alpha Manticore.
I said, that's good. One less thing.
On day 61, I had a special project I had been saving up for. I had just saved up enough for a grinder, and it was time to settle the score. I definitely had a vendetta, and it was about time it was satiated. What was I going to do, you might ask? Well, that's simple. I was gonna grind every garbage drop item I had gotten to this point, all of it, including the Ascendant Quest platform saddle, the Mastercraft Tuso saddle, and the Ascendant Giga saddle, because they are simply worthless on this map. So if Scorched Earth thought it was gonna be funny to give me a bunch of garbage, I was still gonna find a way to make it useful. And boom. Ooh, that's good stuff right there. Ooh, yeah, that was therapeutic right there, baby. Yeah, I might be petty, but I really needed this. Like, deep down in my soul, needed this. With the alpha fight looming ever closer and closer, it was time to do a huge Rex breeding session. Every Rex I had tamed and bred to this point would be part of this operation. And unfortunately, hatching the amount of Rexes this size, I would also be out of commission playing midwife for a while, imprinting all the members of our young army. Raising all these Rexes made me realize that our compound as it was not going to be nearly big enough. So with a little help from the grinder, I made us a chemistry bench. And let me tell you guys, if I had a sand addiction before, this made it about 50 times worse. Once again, I became the Clay King. Reason being, I had quite the project in mind. You see, I was going to put our Rex army on the cliff above our base. For one, we may as well take advantage of all the free real estate up there. Plus, it was close and safe, which was very important. Only problem, I was gonna need a way to get them on and off the cliff fast when I started leveling them up. So, with a little help from S+, I began to bridge the gap. This behemoth of a bridge took me most of the day. However, by sundown, I did manage to finish it. You know what's just dawning on me right now? It probably would have been a whole lot less drama to just build a ramp, Well, it's too late now. The next day, I walked what we had of our army completed all the way up to the cliff. I also built a smaller wall up top just for that extra layer of protection. Now I would have plenty of space to grow and organize the army, the whole time while everyone was safe. which was definitely worth having the peace of mind over. By day 68, I was in definite need of a mental break and reset. The grind had been so real in order to get this massive bridge done that at this point I was just physically and mentally exhausted. But our new build just didn't feel complete yet. So I dedicated the day to building a monument, similar to the Hollywood sign, but with our little fender flare added onto it. I even rigged lights all the way up to it. Was this necessary? Not even close. Worth it though, completely. By the way, if you haven't already, please leave a like down below. This video took an insane amount of effort to make, but at the same time, it is a lot of fun. Now that Ark had given us a second chance, and we again had a Paraceratherium in our possession, I had one more mission I had been waiting to complete for quite a while now. Unfortunately, we would still require the platform as well, which meant for a second time, I'd be making the Great Parasaur Migration. Once back at base, I tore down the pillbox of his turrets and ammo. Then I proceeded to mulch them for mats. Seeing as we wouldn't need them any longer, I figured we could still get some use out of them in some way. With those new mats, I was able to suit Atlas 2 with a brand new rig, accessorized with the cannon. After that, I eagerly waited for morning. I feel like you just can't spend 100 days on Scorched Earth and call it complete without trying to tame a rock golem at least once. I had spotted this guy about 40 days ago, and I have been thinking about taming him ever since. But today is the day. With a sloppy taming wall in place, it was time to start lighting it up. Fire! Following quite the bombardment, the giant fell. Oh, we got him! We got him! Right on! The next morning, it was clear that this tame was going nowhere fast. So I figured I'd try to make some kibble using our low-level wyvern eggs to try and speed up the process a little bit. So first thing first, I had to go get some honey, and there was only one hive that I knew of on this map. Bro, if we die getting honey, I'm going to lose my mind. Here we go! Ow, 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 ow! And with that, we were able to make a few pieces of extraordinary kibble with which we were finally able to finish our tame. And once tame, I bestowed him with the honor of being named Broly. On the way home, I was thoroughly enjoying Broly's companionship. In particular, just how effortlessly it was for him to just smash anything in our path. Back at home, it occurred to me just how Broly could be of help to us. Alright, there you go, big fella. Probably the most expensive bouncer ever, but at least we know our army will be completely safe. 1010% absolutely worth it. On day 72, I was really hoping we could still squeeze out 2 more breeding sessions for our army. And if I did one now, I might still have enough time to squeeze out another one later. So following the same routine, we bred, hatched out babies, and then spent a couple days raising and imprinting them. That way we could just make sure all the kids were imprinted and healthy. We were still in need of one more artifact, and with it being day 75, we were probably due to get it. This one being located in the ruins of a city, this cave was probably the easiest of the 3. And while we're just being honest, can I just say that Scorched Earth's caves have to be some of the most aesthetically pleasing in all of Ark. Just look at some of the landmarks they added in these caves and even some of the lighting. Like, these are absolutely beautiful. As with the other 3 caves, Tigerstar just kind of made his way through it no problem. And soon enough, we did successfully score the Artifact of the Destroyer and completed our set. Nice, now we just gotta focus on finishing the army. Still looking to round out our forces with the captain and medic, I set out looking to do some recruiting. The Daeodon was fairly easy to find, considering that they spawned everywhere. We were able to begin that tame pretty much cut and dry. Now, the Yudi, on the other hand, was a completely different story. I spent the entire rest of day 76 just flying around the map trying to locate any sort of decent level 1 we could use. And ultimately being unsuccessful, we had to return home empty-handed. On the morning of day 77, I began by naming our new Daeodon Chopper, after the best doctor in recent memory.
Shut up! You can praise me all you want, you stupid human, but don't think I like it or anything!
Then, once again, I tried to find a decent level Yudi, which just seemingly couldn't be done. I looked in and around the mountains all day, without even the sight of any good levels. And since killing them isn't always the easiest thing because of their specialized roar, getting new ones to spawn was also proving to be kind of a pain in the butt. This resulted in us returning to base a second time empty-handed. I woke up day 78 feeling motivated. I began by checking the all-knowing wiki to be sure of their spawns and headed out one last time. Thankfully, I did locate a level 135 duty, which granted isn't even close to a great level, but at this point I was running out of time and frankly I was tired of searching. So I trapped, knocked him out, then stood guard to make sure nothing arky and terrible happened to him. Because as we learned, Utis, besides maybe good loot from loot drops, are apparently the rarest thing on all of Scorched Earth. Our Uti tamed out that night, and in the morning you might be able to call me crazy because I was genuinely hoping to find something useful in the desert drops. And no, I don't know what the definition of insanity is. So for one last time, I set out in search of treasure. First at bat, what we got? Oh my god. Why did I even decide to do this again? All right, final at bat. Give me a hit here, man. And perfect, a wooden shield. Wait, pause. Journeyman sniper. Oh my god, yes, okay. We can actually use that. It's not the greatest, but we can actually use that. I'm not really sure if that warranted spending an entire day doing drops. I'm just happy to get something good out of those drops one time in this video. With the Manticore fight being just around the corner, I took one last opportunity to breed our Rexes. This would surprisingly give us a few more than we would actually need, but I was okay with that. That would allow us to be able to be a little bit more picky when it came to choosing which ones we wanted to fight the Alpha Manticore, and it would also give us a backup in two, just in case we had a casualty while fighting Beta or Gamma. Well, surely at this point, you guys know the drill. We're going to raise and imprint them, and it's going to take me a couple days to do. By day 83, all of our Rexes were grown. That meant it was time for the real grind to start. Based solely off of other alphas and some of our struggles in the Crystal Isles 100 days, I figured we were in for quite the fight. And since we couldn't stack mutations thanks to the time constraints, I was gonna have to milk every bit of XP into the crew that I could. My strategy would be to take 3 Rexes out at a time into the dunes. And while out in the dunes, I was gonna do 1 lap of the map while riding each one, destroying everything my eyes laid sight on. For those of you trying to keep count at home, that's 20 different laps around the entire map while only walking on the back of a Rex. On top of this grind, it'd take me many more days to gather all the materials needed for the Rex saddle blueprint. Granted, it's not the best blueprint, but it's still fairly expensive nonetheless. Especially when you consider we're gonna need 18 of them. The 2 of these grinds coupled together would eat into a huge chunk of our time. Knowing this ahead of time, I made sure to set out a large amount of our time just to make sure we would be able to have as much prep time as we needed. So for the foreseeable future, I spent all my time either leveling up Rexes or grinding mats for saddles. This grind took me all the way up to day 95. And this day in particular would be even more important because this would be the very last day we would have to do any sort of prep before our rumble. I had successfully made all of the saddles for the army. All the troops had been trained up as best I possibly could given our time constraints. Needless to say, they were all roaring and ready to go. So I began our final day of prep by cryopotting the troops and bringing them over to an obelisk. Again, I got to bear witness to them all taking their pre-fight cryo nap. You know, this giant cuddle puddle of death is very quickly turning into some sort of tradition at this point. With the troops now in position and fully geared up and ready to go, I headed back to base to do some final prep. It was now time to get my gear in order before our big fight. So I dug through our blueprints and our best armors and I put kind of a strange outfit together. I even changed up our look with some war paint. Alright, now I'm really starting to consider that maybe dressing up like a stormtrooper really isn't the move, especially considering I might need to land some actual shots in this fight. I don't know, just a thought. The day of days. It was time to put all our effort, time, and energy to the test. I did allow myself to linger for just a moment to appreciate all we went through and made. Taking in that moment of clarity, it truly makes me realize just how much you can do in only 100 days of Ark. But we didn't have time for all of that. I had to push those sentimental feelings aside and head straight to the battlefield. All right, Gamma first, and here we go. All right, Aslan, your time has come. I'm here now. Come and get some, baby. The Manticore battle really does resemble the Wyvern Queen fight in many ways. The main similarity being it will just fly away from you out of nowhere to avoid battle, leaving us to fight whatever minions he had spawned in at the time. Because of course, he was impossible for the army to attack when he was in the air. So because of this, you have to take full advantage of it when it lands. And boy, did we ever capitalize. Oh my god, we just cooked him! Also, unlike the Wyvern Queen, getting the Manticore to land isn't as rare or nearly as stressful. Our army was holding up and doing exactly what we designed it to do. Mainly decimating the Manticore and leaving it trembling in our wake. Holy cow, we obliterated him! Let's go! Alright, 1 down and 2 more to go. I treated day 97 as a rest day to give the boys some much-deserved R&R after the battle. The Manticore might be considered one of the easiest bosses in Ark, but there was no way I was gonna get cocky and start underestimating it now. On top of that, the Gamma version of the Manticore is a far cry from being anywhere near as tough as both the beta and the alpha versions of the Manticore. So we still were gonna have quite the uphill hike ahead of us. By day 98, our troops were all 100% healthy and super eager to prove themselves in battle against the beta. Round 2, baby, let's get it! And since the Gamma fight went so well, I went with the exact same strategy for the beta. An all-out blitzkrieg on everything it loved. Again though, we had to capitalize on all the landings and endure the minions while it was flying. Spending all of that time pumping every ounce of XP we possibly could into the Rexes was seemingly paying off in spades. Our army once again went immediately to work, absolutely terrorizing the beta Manticore and all our minions.
We do what we were trained to do, what we were bred to do, what we were born to do.
Yes, let's freaking go! You hear that, Alpha Manticore? We're coming for you, baby! Woo! Let's get it! With the biggest test yet to come, I still wanted our army to be 100% healthy so we would have no excuse if we lost. I wanted to send absolutely everything I had at the Alpha Manticore. So for 99, we'd spent one more time making sure our army was 100% healthy and all the way up back to full strength. Okay, day 100. No matter what happens in this fight, at least we made it to day 100. Round 3 and only one chance to knock him out. I hope you're shaking in your boots, buddy, because we're here now. Attack! Tonight we dine at the Olive Garden! No, 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 don't you run from this! With the Alpha Manticore having so much more extra health and damage than the Beta and the Gamma did, it did give me a little pause. At first, the battle was seemingly going our way. Then at one point, his minions managed to split our army into 2 halves, changing the tide of battle completely. No, no, what are you guys doing? Don't split up, wait! I immediately began having flashbacks to the Alpha Wyvern Queen and what happened in that battle. But the Rexes didn't give up and they seemingly had my back as they continued to press on. I was even managing to land a few good pot shots with our sniper rifle. And with some proper guidance, I was able to rally our troops and get everybody focused back on the main enemy. This time, my will would not be opposed. Come on, a little more, a little more. Yes! Woo! We got it done this time, baby! That's right, it's our desert now. All the sands belong to me. Never a doubt in my mind, man. I knew he wouldn't fail again. No way, no how. I just spent way too long grinding up these Rexes. Now that the Desert Throne rightfully belonged to me, a thought started to creep into my mind. With a formidable desert kingdom, maybe we should start expanding our empire. I started having thoughts of setting our sights on a much stronger enemy. But who knows, maybe we'll invade another map and continue to grow our kingdom, or maybe we won't. Comment down below if that's something you'd like to see. Don't leave yet or you'll miss the special ending I made. But first, I'd just like to say thank you for sticking around this far. I really do appreciate it, and if you made it this far, comment nailed it, aced it, can't be stopped down below in honor of one of the channel's main inspirations, Slipgator. Just to keep the haters guessing. I had been really worried I wouldn't be able to complete this one when I started this project, but I am super glad we did. That being said though, I don't know when or if we will do another 100 days video. You see, we're not strictly a 100 days channel. More specifically, we are simply an Ark channel. We do all sorts of Ark stuff and things. It's really not my shtick to just do nothing but grind these out back to back. but they are really fun to do, and I do thoroughly enjoy playing Ark this way. So I don't know, comment down below if you want to see another one of these things, and you just might sway my opinion. And without further ado, enjoy the montage.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little vice in. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic.